I'm so happy to be here with all of you. Thank you, Renee, and thank you for everyone who's part of Project Inside Out and joining in today. Um, what I'm going to do is spend a little time in a moment guiding us into an experience to take some of the richness that has been presented and let it start to deepen and integrate and incubate even inside of us to help it take root and blossom in your life and in your work. Because it's funny, this idea of paradoxes has come up a lot already today. And I also feel that some of our most effective and productive efforts paradoxically require times of stillness. And that's a part of what we're going to be adding in a moment here. So we've talked about we need, of course, these well-honed critical thinking and scaled up strategies, but to do it really well, we need to bring along our creativity, our intuition, to let those be elements in building our emotional intelligence. So what I want to focus on today is kind of waking up parts of ourselves that have kind of gone offline. They're sort of dormant simply from lack of use. And when I say intuition, what I mean is listening to the ways of knowing that are built into the soles of our feet, the quiet design in our nervous system, the wisdom that resides in the landscapes of our hearts and remains available to us, and in tapping into these places, these ways of knowing, and then blending them with our cognitive abilities so that we're bringing more of us into the challenges we're talking about. You know, this conversation was launched with the idea of new ways of acting, new ways of being. But I honestly believe part of it is reclaiming very ancient ways that have gotten cut off, that have become dormant, that have been devalued, and reactivating those. So that's a little flavor of what I want to do today. So how do we do this? It's similar to the creative process in that we are going to find a way to step into that which is yet unformed, yet unshaped, see what wants to bubble up. But I really want to emphasize that creativity is not relegated to those in the arts, that this is such a natural part of us. And it's very natural. We just may not all be practiced at it all the time. And it's simple. We're going to be relaxing. We're going to be bringing ourselves even more present into this moment that has never been experienced before. So kind of feeling that unmarked quality of this moment, this unfolding that's here now. It's interesting, I didn't know what Steve was going to say, but many of the words and orientations I'm describing are very similar to what you just heard. And we're going to be applying it to our own inner landscape. We're going to bring a kind of receptivity to let go of some ideas about what ought to be happening and see what's there. To bring a kind curiosity, to tune in and trust that ability to tune in and being open to possibilities. So let's now begin to shift into an experience. I'm just going to invite you to try it out. And to begin, I'd like you to either close your eyes or just let them have a soft focus. And I'll say that as I use the word vision, I'm really including many, many ways of knowing. It might be felt sense in the body. Might be an impression, might be a flash of clarity or just a quiet ring of truth. So begin by noticing all the places of contact between your body and wherever you're sitting. It might be the soft or firm support of a chair, or it might include the feel of your feet on the floor. And begin to feel into the outline of your body with your awareness. Feeling into its natural weight, shape, and the sensations. And as you have a stronger impression of your body, begin to notice the flow of your breath. And see if you can sense the very ancient rhythm of filling up on the in-breath and emptying out on the exhalation. Let your breath be full, but remain in a comfortable rhythm. Just a quality of really welcoming in your breath. And see if those two parts of the breath, the taking in and the emptying out, can really come into balance. To feel it like the rising and the setting of the sun, or the ebb and flow of the tides, the waxing, waning of the moon. Now let your awareness float down deeper inside yourself, under the fluctuations of your physical sensations, deeper than your feelings that come and go. Including the space between your thoughts and around your thoughts. Really inviting all the levels and dimensions of who you are to be included in this process. Everything is welcome. And as you stretch out your awareness in this way, see if you can begin to sense a kind of spaciousness that emerges. And if you do, and as you do, just notice and feel and listen, get acquainted with this spacious inner quality. And from an inner posture of curiosity, I'd like you to either invite a question or concern, you'll be doing this silently with yourself, that you have about this climate work, an aspect of how it touches you, or something about your work that you'd like greater clarity about. Or you could ask the question, what do I need to support me in this work? And as you silently ask that question, do it with the feel of having your palms open. So rather than jumping to familiar ways of thinking about it, notice what arises in this inner spaciousness. Allow yourself to be receptive, even if it doesn't make sense right away. And there may be an image that appears, a felt impression, a knowing. It's a reminder of something that's gotten a little bit covered over. Whatever it is you're noticing, really get acquainted with it and allow it to communicate with you in some way. So that you're listening, you're noticing, and you can open yourself to receive. Allow yourself to be surprised. Maybe you'll be an element of what you've heard presented, and seeing with greater clarity how it fits into your life, your work. In a moment, we're going to slowly close, but anything that shifted in a way that feels helpful, whether it's something in your mind, something in your heart, something in your body, or dots that were connected. Know that we remember experiences not just with our minds, our bodies remember, our nervous systems remember, our feelings remember. So really notice anything of value, anything you're curious about, anything you want to cultivate from this. Let it imprint itself. This is part of creating the new template, creating a new blueprint. And this transition is really important. We're not going to leave anything behind, but begin to feel the coexistence of this inner state of being, this inner state of awareness, now blending with reconnecting to a sense of the room around you. So that this heightened sense of presence, this heightened way of listening can happen even when you open your eyes in just a moment. So as you feel that blending, that comfortable transition, go ahead and open your eyes again. And I just want to say a small amount more about why it's worth taking the time for this. It's also, you know, I don't know the range of what you experience, but it's another one of those things that can take practice to get familiar with this kind of listening. But we really need actions that come from deep guidance. That's been so much of what we're talking about. How our emotions can be our allies, how anxiety and ambivalence can be our allies. And then what? And then how do we bring it into a kind of action that doesn't just jump up into our heads again, right? It's this weaving together of these deep visceral connections. And this kind of way of knowing, if it's something you choose to practice with more regularity, really builds in a very visceral quality of how We are interconnected, we are interdependent with all forms of life, because as you feel that, that deep vitality and wholesomeness that animates our own bodies, animates our minds and emotions, we begin to recognize how that is the very same spark of life that's, of course, flowing through all forms. But instead of having to remember or think about it, it becomes something that we see. It becomes something that guides what we say and what we do. And again, I think it's in reclaiming these parts of ourselves and bringing them online with everything else that we are learning how to more fully embody our humanity and our capacities. I'm going to pause there and bring it back to you, Renee.